Right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Bonjour! It's time once again to go racing here in Montreal, the second largest French-speaking city in the world, and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. It's a tricky circuit to tackle in wet conditions, with top speed still of critical importance down the long back straight. There are 2.7 miles and 14 corners overall on a circuit that in the dry can see average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour. We'll be lucky to get anywhere near that today. Joining me on this very wet day is a man who's no stranger to driving in miserable conditions. Anthony Davidson, you've driven open cockpit, you've driven sports cars. How does the wet weather experience change between the different disciplines?
Well, I wouldn't say there's much difference in all honesty. You know, besides the terrifying closing speeds you find in sports cars with the different categories all sharing the same track, driving in the rain is, well, driving in the rain. Of course, the biggest difference between the two is the closed cockpit versus the open cockpit. You get the luxury of staying dry in the sports car, but if your screen ever gets dirty, well, that's a pit stop, not just wiping your visor or pulling away a tear off. But most of the time, you know, they're both as miserable as each other, to be honest.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Clark lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Bottas, Sergio Perez and Ricciardo, Gasly, Sainz, Leclerc and Lando Norris, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Sebastian Vettel and Ocon, Russell, Tsunoda, Kimi Raikkonen and Mick Schumacher, Latifi, Mazepin, Giovinazzi and Daniel Ticktum. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power. Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race. Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. The turbocharger is on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum. We're increasing our gap on the car behind by around a second a lap. This is your final lap of the race. Great drive. We did it. Good job.
And with that, we wrap up yet another incredible Grand Prix weekend. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack. And having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
It's time